Here is the truth that most travel content will never tell you directly. Flying after 60 does not have to get harder. And for the senior travelers in our Airport Wisdom community who have learned what we are about to share with you today, it has actually gotten easier, cheaper, and more comfortable than it ever was in their younger years, not because they spend more money, but because they finally understand the hidden architecture of benefits, shortcuts, and quiet accommodations that exist inside the airline system, specifically for experienced travelers, and that the vast majority of passengers walk right past every single trip without ever knowing they were there. So today we are going through all 16 of these benefits one by one and giving you the exact language to use for each one, because knowing a benefit exists and knowing how to ask for it are two completely different things. The first benefit is one that costs airlines real money, which is precisely why they never advertise it publicly. Senior flight discounts on select domestic and international routes that can reduce ticket prices significantly, but that exist entirely off the booking website and appear only when you call the airline directly and ask the specific question. Do you offer senior fares for travelers over 60? Airlines, including major domestic carriers and several international operators, have maintained these pricing structures on certain routes for years, while ensuring that passengers who book online never encounter them. And the travelers who access these discounts are the ones who pick up the phone instead of clicking through the website, because the savings on international routes in particular can be substantial enough to fund a meaningfully better hotel room or an additional day at the destination. The second benefit addresses one of the most energy-draining parts of any travel day, the airport security line. And the insider truth our Airport Wisdom community has confirmed at airports across the United States and internationally is that security staff at many airports can direct older travelers into shorter or priority screening lanes simply when asked politely, with no business class ticket required, no membership program, no fee of any kind, just a calm and respectful question to the staff member managing the checkpoint. Is there a priority lane available for senior travelers? The reason this benefit stays invisible is the same reason most airline perks stay invisible. If it were widely known and universally used, it would stop being faster, so it remains quietly available to the passengers who know to ask for it, and completely inaccessible to the majority who assume the crowded general line is their only option. The third benefit is one that senior travelers on international routes should investigate before every departure, because the baggage fees that have been steadily increasing across the industry are not always as fixed as the booking confirmation suggests. Some airlines maintain internal policies that provide baggage flexibility, heavier weight allowances, or additional checked bag accommodations for older travelers who contact the airline directly several days before departure and request assistance, particularly when medical needs or physical limitations are part of the conversation. The habit that experienced travelers in our community have built is a simple pre-trip phone call to the airline's customer service line asking directly whether any baggage accommodations are available for senior travelers on their specific route, because policies that are never offered automatically are frequently honored when requested by passengers who know enough to ask. The fourth benefit is one of the most consistently effective in our entire Airport Wisdom toolkit: better seat assignments without paying the premium that the booking website demands. And the mechanism is a combination of timing and approach that any senior traveler can deploy on any flight. Gate agents on flights that are not completely full have genuine discretionary authority to reassign passengers to extra legroom rows, front sections, and preferred seating areas at no additional charge. And the travelers who access this flexibility consistently are the ones who arrive at the gate 30 to 45 minutes before boarding, wait for a calm moment, and approach the agent with warmth and a specific, genuine need rather than a demand. Less pressure on arthritic knees, less back pain during a 5-hour flight, more manageable circulation on an overnight international route. These are real physical outcomes that one friendly conversation at the gate can deliver at zero cost. The fifth benefit is one that operates almost entirely on the honor system of the passenger knowing to ask. Senior discounts at airport restaurants and food outlets that are never posted on signs, never mentioned at the counter, and never applied automatically, but that exist at a meaningful number of food and beverage locations across airports in the United States, Canada, and Europe, typically reducing the bill by 10 to 20% when the traveler simply asks before paying, "Do you offer a senior discount?" The cumulative effect of applying this question consistently across a full travel day, breakfast before the outbound flight, coffee during a layover, lunch before the return, can represent a genuine and recurring saving that compounds across every trip you take. The sixth benefit transforms the airport experience for travelers who discover it: lounge access that more senior travelers qualify for than they typically assume, whether through airline loyalty programs at even their most basic membership tiers, through credit cards that include complimentary lounge passes as a standard benefit that cardholders frequently forget they possess, or through the quiet discretionary access that lounge staff occasionally extend to senior travelers during significant delays or long layovers when capacity permits. The quality of those hours matters enormously to how you feel when you finally board. The difference between sitting in a noisy, crowded gate area for 3 hours and sitting in a quiet space with comfortable seating, complimentary food, clean restrooms, and reliable charging is the difference between arriving at your destination depleted and arriving ready to actually enjoy the trip. The seventh benefit is priority boarding, available at most major carriers for senior travelers who request it at check-in or at the gate, and its value is both practical and physical. Boarding before the general crowd means overhead bin space above and near your row is still available when you arrive, means you have time to arrange your seat without the pressure of hundreds of people filing in behind you, and means the physical and psychological stress of the boarding rush simply does not apply to you, replaced instead by the calm of a properly settled passenger who has already found their pillow, accessed their medication, and adjusted their seat before the cabin reaches full capacity. The eighth benefit is the one that most travelers discover too late and in the worst possible circumstances. The possibility of medical exceptions to non-refundable ticket policies when a genuine health emergency prevents travel. Some airlines will consider travel credits, partial refunds, or fee-free ticket changes when a senior traveler faces a serious medical situation before departure, provided the request is made through the airline's customer relations department with proper documentation, including physician letters, hospital records, or surgical scheduling confirmation. The travelers who succeed with these requests are not the ones who argue at the gate on the day of travel. They are the ones who contact customer relations in writing, attach their documentation, and pursue the request with calm persistence through the appropriate channel. The ninth benefit is one that causes unnecessary anxiety for senior travelers who manage ongoing medical conditions, traveling with medication, medical devices, and medically necessary liquids through airport security. And the anxiety is largely the product of not knowing what the rules actually permit, because TSA already allows medically necessary items including liquids that exceed the standard volume limit when they are properly declared before screening begins. The preparation that eliminates virtually all medication-related security problems is straightforward. Carry medications in original labeled containers, have a prescription or physician's letter accessible, and proactively inform the screening officer before your bag enters the machine that you are carrying medically necessary items for separate screening, because the travelers who encounter problems at medication checkpoints are almost universally the ones who wait to be stopped, rather than initiating the declaration themselves. The 10th benefit addresses a specific and increasingly expensive pain point: the fees airlines charge for seat selection that forces travel companions to pay just to sit together, and the alternative that our airport wisdom community has found effective is bypassing the online seat selection process entirely and speaking directly with the airline before departure or at the check-in counter, explaining that you are traveling with a companion who provides assistance or support during the flight, and requesting that adjacent seating be arranged without the standard selection fee. On flights that are not completely full, agents have manual seat adjustment capability that the booking website does not reflect, and a calm, direct conversation explaining the genuine need frequently produces the seating arrangement that would otherwise cost an additional fee to reserve. The 11th benefit is one of the most comprehensive and most consistently underutilized services in aviation: airport assistance including wheelchair transport, electric cart rides between gates, baggage handling help, and escort services through security and immigration. Available to senior travelers without a permanent disability designation and without any cost beyond the initiative to arrange it, ideally 24 to 72 hours before departure, by calling the airline and requesting the service so that staff and equipment are prepared upon your arrival rather than scrambled after the fact. For senior travelers navigating large international hub airports where the distance between check-in and a far gate can exceed a mile of walking, this single service transforms the airport experience from physically exhausting to entirely manageable. The 12th benefit extends the assistance principle into the arrivals process: priority immigration and customs processing at airports that quietly offer it to older travelers who ask. And the invisibility of this benefit is largely a function of poor signage and no public announcement rather than any actual inaccessibility, because at many airports priority lanes for senior travelers exist and are staffed and are accessed simply by approaching an airport staff member at the arrivals hall and asking calmly whether priority processing is available. After a 12-hour international flight when your body is carrying the full weight of the journey, avoiding an additional 45-minute stand in the general immigration queue is not a luxury, it is a legitimate physical accommodation. The 13th benefit is one that requires nothing more than the habit of asking before paying. Potential discounts on onboard purchases including snacks, meals, beverages, and in-flight Wi-Fi that some airlines maintain internally for senior travelers, but never print in the menu or announce during the flight, meaning that the question, "Do you offer any senior pricing on board?" asked quietly to a flight attendant before making any purchase is a question that occasionally produces a meaningful reduction in cost, and that costs nothing when the answer is no. The 14th benefit is the upgrade opportunity that most passengers either never pursue or pursue with exactly the wrong approach. Politely requesting better seating on less crowded flights by arriving early, waiting for the right moment, and communicating with warmth and specificity rather than frustration or entitlement, because gate agents who have discretionary flexibility with seat assignments on a partially full aircraft use that flexibility for the passengers whose demeanor makes them easy to help, not for the ones whose approach makes helping them feel like a confrontation. The 15th benefit covers the check-in moment specifically, the window where senior travelers with physical discomfort, mobility limitations, or recovery from recent surgery can request quiet seating adjustments including aisle positioning, proximity to lavatories, and more accessible row assignments that may not require extensive medical documentation when the request is made early and explained clearly, because agents working at the check-in counter before the boarding rush have more flexibility and more time to make manual adjustments than the booking website ever reflects. The 16th and final benefit extends past the flight itself into the ecosystem of travel partners that surround every airline booking, hotel partnerships, airport transfer services, and tour operators that maintain senior pricing or special accommodations connected to airline loyalty programs and that are accessible only to travelers who ask before booking rather than after, because most of these arrangements exist in relationships between companies that require a direct conversation to activate rather than a checkbox in an online form. Tell us in the comments which of these 16 benefits you are planning to use on your next trip, or share one that you have already discovered and used successfully, because every first-hand account in this community is exactly the kind of specific, practical knowledge that helps another senior traveler walk into their next airport experience with confidence rather than anxiety. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications because Airport Wisdom publishes new insider travel guidance for senior passengers every single week, and we will see you in the next video. Because the best journey of your life is not behind you, it is the next one, and now you know exactly how to make it work in your favor.